Darlington definitely brought the drama. Let's talk all about it. Going into this weekend, we knew that Toyotas and Fords had the speed. Unfortunately for Chevrolet, they did not show up with a lot of speed on their side. None of their cars qualified within the top 10, which is very uncharacteristic of them at this track. Especially for Hendrick Motorsports, William Byron, one of the championship favorites, qualified outside the top 20. Kyle Larson qualified outside the top 15, and I thought at least they were going to have great speed knowing Kyle Larson's great history at this track. So essentially, I had counted out the Chevrolets from winning this weekend, but something I need to consistently remind myself of on a weekly basis at this point is that the 5-team laughs in the face of adversity. Anything you throw at them, they will come back stronger. They were fast in practice, had a crappy qualifying run. Kyle Larson even had a gear issue during this race, but somehow, some way, he is a bridesmaid no longer. He finally gets his win for the Southern 500. And this wasn't necessarily an easy win for Kyle Larson. Of course, like I said, he had to fight back from a lot of adversity during this race, which is not an issue for that 5-team, but he also had to fight against really strong cars like Tyler Reddick's car. We're talking about Chris Buescher, who just surged through the field near the end of the race and was fighting for that second position. William Byron as well. He had, again, a crappy start to the weekend, but was able to rebound to get a 4th place finish. And I truly do think if we had like 20 laps left in this race, there would have been a battle for second place and maybe even the win. Kyle Larson was making a lot of bold moves. I don't know if it would have caught up to him, but we will never know. I already mentioned your top 4, so 5th place, a great rebound for this team, Ross Chastain. 6th, Keselowski. 7th, Wallace. 8th, Elliott. 9th, Blaney. And 10th, Eric Jones. Won this race last year. A great effort from this team, knowing that their performance this year has not been the best, but a great top 10 finish for Eric Jones in the 43. Also want to give a shout out to Carson Hocevar. He was in that 42 for Legacy Motor Club this weekend. He finished this race in the 17th position. He'll also be racing in that 42 car for Kansas and Bristol. So really solid result for him and his team. There are 2 playoff drivers I want to talk about that did not finish inside the top 10. One of those drivers, Michael McDowell, didn't finish this race at all. Kyle Busch was trying to take Todd Gilliland and Austin Dillon 3 wide. Unfortunately, this caused Todd Gilliland to wreck, and as he was wrecking, he got into his teammate of Michael McDowell. There was too much damage sustained to his car, and Michael McDowell did not finish this race. Kevin Harvick finished in the 19th position, and I totally think he could have won this race if it was not for a poorly timed caution with pit road strategy, and that all mixed to make just an awful situation for that Ford team. As Kevin Harvick was going to pit road, the leader, Tyler Reddick, made a last-minute decision to go to pit road. This made Ryan Newman spun, and it threw out the caution. When the caution comes out on the track, pit road closes. Kevin Harvick thought he crossed that commitment line before pit road closed. Unfortunately, though, we know this was not the case. In my mind, I was thinking at this moment, the only thing Kevin Harvick can do without getting a penalty is just drive down pit road, lose some track position, but that's it. No penalty, not getting sent to the back of the pack. Everything would have been good. Instead, though, what the team did was they made a pit stop under a closed pit road and got that penalty, and it sent them to the back of the pack. So I'm not sure the logic behind the reasoning of having that pit stop. I'm not sure if there was confusion or a miscommunication as if Kevin Harvick made it before the pit road was closed or not. I'm not really sure, but it ruined their day, and I'm so disappointed because, again, I thought Kevin Harvick could have won this race. Instead, though, he came home with a 19th place finish. And if that isn't enough drama, there was drama with the non-playoff drivers, specifically between Bowman and Suárez. Bowman seemed to over-aggressively block Suárez down the track. That is block number 1. The second block comes right after that when Suárez, not giving Bowman any break, moves up the track to try to clear himself. But Bowman blocks again, and this action from Bowman and Suárez moving up the track caused them both to wreck out. If we want to play the blame game, then I would honestly say I'm leaning towards Suárez's side a bit. One block, like Suárez said, is fine. Blocking a second time that aggressively is just not okay in my book. In his post-race interview, Bowman said looking back, he probably shouldn't have thrown those blocks. At the same time, though, he says that Suárez should have lifted. Both drivers made other comments about the other, saying they make dumb moves and this and that, but at the end of the day, though, I do ultimately think that those over-aggressive blocks were not necessary. I don't feel like Suárez should have had to have lifted. Of course, it probably would have saved them both from wrecking out, but I think the blocks were quite a bit. So that's my take, at least, on the Bowman and Suárez situation. Getting back on track, though, with our playoff drivers, of course, this win for Kyle Larson means that he has locked himself into the round of 12. And if we look at the rest of the playoff grid, what's crazy to me is that William Byron and Martin Truex Jr. were tied with playoff points heading into this race. Now, with the awful day that Martin Truex Jr. had, he is 6th in the playoff grid. And after this race, I love to see how close the points still are around that cutoff line. Joey Logano +3, last year's champ. Christopher Bell +1, who was in the championship for last year. Bubba Wallace is only -1, and Kevin Harvick -2. Stenhouse -4, and Michael McDowell -19. With 2 races left in this round, there is still a lot that these drivers can do to get themselves back above that cutoff line, but it's going to take perfect execution to do that. As for my thoughts on this race as a whole, it was fine. It was a pretty solid Southern 500, all things considered. And I think, of course, in the stage 3, when drama really picked up, it got a little bit more entertaining. I will say, though, I did enjoy those long green flag runs. I also did like the end battle between that top 4. Of course, we knew that Larson was going to take it just because of the battle that these drivers and these cars at least are facing with dirty air on the track and just not being able to make an advancement on that first place car. Otherwise, though, overall enjoyable. This race had drama. It had some bizarre moments with the lights not coming on in turns 3 and 4 a little bit earlier in the race that caused a red flag. Ultimately, though, I think one thing that stands out to me, though, is just the durability of this Gen 7 car. Meaning, like usually at Darlington, if drivers brush the wall 3 or 4 times, it's going to cause some damage. At least we saw that with the Gen 6 car. Now, of course, with the Gen 7 car, though, we've seen some drivers hit the wall way too hard. It breaks a toe link and their day is either ended or their chance at a win or a top 10 is completely over. However, Kyle Larson did make comments post-race talking about how many times he was able to hit the wall and how forgiving this car seems to be. In some ways, I feel like it almost hurts some of the racing that we see at Darlington, but that's just my opinion. Regardless, I'm going to give this race a 77%, making it above the yellow line. Again, a solid race. I just wanted a little bit more from it, but not bad at all. So what did you think of the Darlington race? Let me know in the comments below and let us know on social media. All of my social media linked in the description below, but this Thursday night, you'll want to be here for the live stream on the TobyChristieCom YouTube and Facebook pages at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to have a special guest, Greg Stump from Off Access. I'm so excited to talk to him about helmet designs, his career, and everything in between, so make sure to join us for that live stream. Again, that is 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the TobyChristieCom YouTube and Facebook pages. Up next on the schedule is Kansas. I'm so excited for this one. It's been one of my favorite races on the schedule the past 2 seasons, so we'll have to see what Kansas Speedway has in store for us. But that is it from me at Above the Yellow Line. Thank you all for the support, and until next time, I'll see ya. Bye. Want more great NASCAR content? Make sure to click the videos on the screen and the links in the description.